looking at the angle of ambition, because I agree with you that it's almost like no matter what you say, as a veteran or somebody who's more mature, you see it, but a young guy is not going to see it. We've both been there.
Yeah.
We just don't care about anything.
Yeah.
But I think what young guys do care about is the ambition. And I think what they don't understand, that I think people do need to understand more so, is if your blood work is clean, like if your labs are all in range and your body is functioning in a better way, you're actually going to grow faster.
Yeah.
So I think if we start to challenge them in a way of like, look, this could help you put on more muscle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the reason I'm bringing it to you is because this is something you did last year with Marek, is like you optimized your hormones and actually, you know, your whole protocol changed and your health markers changed and actually helped you get better and win the Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
So maybe that is something as an angle. Like maybe you can talk about that a little bit, because we changed, you know, you changed a lot of things last year.
Because, you know, for a long time, especially with this sport where there's been things that haven't been touched on, it's just been things that's been pushed down the line from the guys in the past, and we sort of have this idea of this is what you need to do to be in shape,
right?
This is what you need to grow, and that boundary keeps getting pushed heavier and heavier and heavier without no research or science behind it. We just follow what we've been told. And finally, last year, when I finally got a chance to have my blood work done and get shown what exactly is going on in my body, and then I had a way to sort of understand and taper it.
Right.
The results were crazy. You know, something I never understood, but some of the things, it became a time where I had to ask, okay, with everything I was doing, okay, what was the reason and what's the benefit of doing this? And is it worth, are you getting results from it?
Right, right.
So yes, my ambition is higher than ever because I was a good chance of winning the Olympia.
Right.
So you think at this point it's like, throw it all in there and just try to get it better. But it became an idea of actually is the other way around.
Yeah.
It's okay, how do I make my body as efficient as possible and yet keep making so much progress that it backs that up. And that's why having my blood work done and having someone explain to me that actually more isn't better.
You know, that's actually one of the most interesting things you said, I think. We're talking about ambition and not caring. You reached the highest level possible in your sport, and you're just at the cusp of winning. And like you said, you would think at that cusp of winning, you would just not care anymore.
Yeah.
But in caring, it actually helped you win.
Yeah. And this is what's happened. This is something I've seen now. Yeah. And I felt healthier doing my last 2 prep than I've ever done any prep in my life.
Right.
I felt healthier being able to look at my body and see change happening faster than I've ever done in any prep in my life. And it's basically understanding, okay, what the body needs and enough of what the body needs and not going over the boundary just because the idea is, the reason why we push heavier and faster and more is because we think we're going to get a better result from it.
Yeah, more is always better.
The body shuts down. It doesn't work like that. Yeah. You need to understand what's enough for your body as an individual and what's enough to get the premium result and the best result from it without pushing over just because you think that more is better. And understanding that last year has helped me take my body to a whole new level.
Right.
And I feel healthy in doing so.
The other thing I think, we talked about last year during your prep that I think is also directly related to this and to Marek optimizing your hormones and keeping your labs in check. You felt better.
Yeah.
This wasn't just a matter, and I think, let's take again the 20 to 25-year-old kid that doesn't care. He doesn't care how he feels.
No.
But we've all been through preps that were so bad that we were depressed or angry or isolated or whatever. And you said to me last year that it was the best you'd ever felt. So can you explain a little bit why and how?
So basically, when I got in a sport and I started pushing and started driving to be the bodybuilder I am today, for a long time, most of what I felt, I thought it was just me. I thought it was my personality. The feeling depressed, feeling angry, having the mood swings, all that, I thought it was just, this is what happened. It was normal.
Yeah.
And I thought this is what you have to do. You go into prep, 1 minute you're angry, next minute you're depressed, next minute you're up, next minute you're down, you're all over the place, all through. And then you just think, oh, that's prep. And we sort of have come up into this culture where we sort of line it up as, that's what you're supposed to feel. You're supposed to feel shit in prep. That's what defines you making progress. Mm-hmm. But last year was the first year where when we finally learned, okay, this is why you feel like this is not normal. Right. Is your body telling you a clear message as not normal? Because young guys, we don't know that because no one spoke about it.
Well, I think the prevailing thought has always been, if you're suffering, that means you're better.
You're better.
We don't look at it like, no, your body should actually be happy
Yeah.
to do what it's doing. And we, as bodybuilders, because we want to be hardcore, we always think the more pain, the more anger.
better. It's not. It is not better. And trust me, living close, being with your family and being miserable and being depressed and being angry isn't freaking good.
Yeah.
It's you put your family through a lot, and they're the ones closest to you. They're the ones that suffer the brunt of this.
Right.
Isn't good. So for me, last year when I finally figured out that actually there's a reason for it and there was a way to do it, actually feeling okay in prep and feeling normal from day to day and just feel like a normal person, it changed my whole pride. It changed my whole life. It changed the whole idea of doing body. For once, I wasn't dreading prepping for a show.
Well, that might have been why you were able to prep again for the Arnold, because you had a better way.
I had a better experience where I had a better way of doing it and knowing that I can actually enjoy this at every part of it. It's one thing being hungry and feeling tired because you're hungry, but it's another thing being emotional and being angry and being something else.
Yeah, and just so people watching don't take this the wrong way, we don't mean, what I'm saying is, I don't mean that you don't need to suffer in the fact that you're not eating a lot of calories or that you're training really hard or whatever. What I'm talking about is the mental side of things, because if your labs are out of whack or if your hormones aren't optimized, that's where the mental side of things start to run away on you.
Yeah.
So just so people are clear, we're not talking about
feeling tired because you're starving.
You should be suffering because you're on low calories or you're training really hard and you're tired. But if you're having mental struggles, that could be because of optimization or labs being out of whack or something like that.
And taking that part out of it and now understanding that your main thing is, you're suffering because you don't have enough calories.
Yeah.
It's a big difference between understanding that, okay, I'm angry, I'm emotional, and I'm a wreck because I don't have enough calories.
Right.
It's two different things.
Right.
So being able to optimize the hormones properly and knowing how to split the two and go, okay, right, I'm suffering, it's horrible, I'm starving, but
mentally I'm
okay.
Yeah.
And this is where the most important part of this needs to be highlighted and needs to be spoken about, needs to be drawn attention to and say, you don't have to have that.